Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video with the adventures of the memory makers. Today, let's talk generators, and specifically the generator that we have now switched to that we use with our camper when we go boondocking. Cindy and I are primarily off-grid campers. We generally look for campsites that are away from everyone else, that generally don't have power. Very seldom do they have water, but we can just get off, get away, and that's the type of camping that we like to do. We have solar on our roof. We have two 100-watt Bouge RV 9BB panels. They do a great job when they can see the sky. But a lot of times the sites that we pick are very shaded and just don't have a good view of the sky. We have a portable power station that we power our camper with. We'll share a video link in the description of how we did that. It does a really good job. It's got a 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery in it. It can run the whole camper for easily, 4 days, depending on how much we run the roof vent fan at night. But at the end of that 4 days, we're looking for some way to charge that battery. So like I said, if we're in a shaded campsite, then solar's out of the question. Solar is great. I love solar. It just has its drawbacks, and shaded campsites are one of its drawbacks. So we have a power converter that we could actually plug the 7-way trailer lead from the trailer to the tow vehicle and power the solar controller that way to charge the battery. Or we carry a generator with us as a backup to charge the battery in the event that we just don't have the solar capability to do that. And for the past 2.5 years, we've been carrying around this, which is just a Harbor Freight 2,000-watt inverter generator. It works great. I have no complaints about it, other than the fact that for what we would use it for, which is just merely running the battery charger in our tongue box, this is a monster. It weighs 55 pounds. Physical size wise, it's pretty big. So this has been taking up space in the back of our truck for every camping trip. And to be honest with you, we haven't used it yet. So this is basically just, a safety backup for us in the event that we can't get power. So because of that, I started looking around for something smaller that would just power the battery charger in our tongue box that's going to send power to our power station and get some more power back in it. So I was working over in Pennsylvania, working on a customer's camper, and he just happened to pick up a very neat little generator. And he said, "Hey, let me show you my new generator." But David pulled this out of the back of his truck, and immediately I knew I was getting ready to make a change. So what David pulled out was this little guy, and I made a cover for it. Of course, I got carried away and put a bungee cord on the bottom of it, and it's pretty tight, but it seals it up nice. And what David pulled out was the Sportsman 800-watt pure sine wave inverter generator. It's got 1,000-watt surge, and this little guy is just so cute. I want to pick it up and hug it. I mean, it looks like something you would see in a dollhouse, but it weighs 22 pounds. You can pick it up with 2 fingers. It's got a half-gallon tank that will run it for about 6.3 hours at 50% load, and it does exactly what I wanted the generator to do. I'm not going to go in depth and do a great big review on it because they're all over the YouTube. I mean, you can see countless reviews on this. I did watch one before I bought it. I watched Hobotech's review on it, and he bought one of these and ran it 750 some hours in 1 year before it started smoking. and and to be honest with you, if I run it 7 hours in a year, that's probably going to be a busy year for it. So if it made it 700 hours, without having a problem for him, I was sold on it. This little guy, like I said, it's super small, super light. It's got one plug on it, which is all I need because at the time, in my mind, I was just going to use this to power the battery charger in that tongue box. And so far, that's what we've used it for. But then, you know how minds are, I got to thinking. The air conditioner in our camper only runs at about 360 watts, when it's physically running. This thing puts out 800 watts with a 1,000-watt surge. So curious minds had to know, would it run our air conditioner? The correct answer to that technically is no. It would not start the air conditioner. The amount of current that it needed so quickly in order to start the air conditioner, this little guy just wasn't able to pick up fast enough and run. So didn't break my heart because that was not the reason that I bought it. My intent was to just run that battery charger, and that's what we've done with it. But it kept eating at me in the back of my head. Can we get this to run the air conditioner in the camper? The correct answer to that now is yes. And if you check back on one of our future videos, I'm going to show you how I did that. But right now, let's just talk about this little guy and how we're using it. So on the front, it's pretty simple. You got your one plug right here, which is grounded. You got your on-off switch. You got an ESC switch for electronic speed control. It does have 12-volt out, so it will charge a battery, but like 4 amps. So, it's a trickle charge at best. It's got it, like I said, half 0.55 gallon tank here on top with a fuel vent. I did add, me, I can't leave anything alone. I did add an hour meter to it, and so far I've ran it a whopping 1.5 hours, but it's done exactly what I need to do in that 1.5 hours. I also changed the spark plug in it. They come with the Chinese torch version spark plugs, and anytime I buy something that has that spark plug, I always change that out. Here on this side, you've got your main controls here. So you got your fuel shut-off valve, your recoil rope, your choke lever, your primer bulb. I only run non-alcohol fuel in little motors like this, so this will probably run us a very long time. I do carry a small metal can with a little extra gas in it, just in case we're going to run it for a long time. So the way we've used this so far was we went to the Boyle down in Hot Springs, North Carolina, and we were using our AC200Max power station to power our air conditioner. So after 2 days, we were down below about 50% power, and it was either take that 200 Max somewhere and plug it into a wall outlet, or since we were way upriver kind of by ourselves, I just pulled this out of the back of the truck, plugged it into the 200 Max brick, and charged that back up to 99% in about 1 hour. So it just sit there and ran about 20 feet from us. We were swinging in the hammock on the edge of the riverbank, and honestly, you could hear it, but it wasn't one of those wah sounds. I mean, it was just like this dull hum in the background. It was on the backside of our truck. No one was around us, so it wasn't an issue with noise. I was just very impressed overall with how it worked. Sat there and did exactly what it was supposed to do. And it only weighs 22 pounds, and takes up the space. The boots that I wear come in a box bigger than this. So, that compared, if you want to come here to the side, Cindy, over here, this, to do the very same thing, obviously this has more capability. This is 2000 watts. This is 800 running watts. So this is going to have more power. But for boondocking and off-grid camping, when you're just trying to charge your batteries up, this is just a ticket. I mean, it just weighs nothing, takes up hardly any space. So here is the best part of the whole deal. So these are now up to about $549 regular price at Harbor Freight. You can get them a little less on sale. This little guy through Tractor Supply Company, and I'll put the link in the description, is on sale today for $164.99 with free shipping to the store. I mean, I don't care if I got to buy one a year. I mean, this thing is just, how can you not pick one of these up for $164 if all you're trying to do is put some power back in the battery of your camper? So like I said, we did find a way, and we made a modification to our air conditioner that we can now run our 5500 BTU air conditioner in the camper off of this if for some reason that we would need to. Now, I just did that basically to prove that I could do it, and I'm going to share how I did that in a future video. But I think that modification also had additional benefits to it that I wasn't considering at the time that I did it. My whole point of doing that modification was just to see if I could get this little guy to run the air conditioner. But in actually using the air conditioner now with that modification, I'm really excited about what it did for us in the long run. So, going to wrap us up real quick. Sportsman 800 watt 4-stroke inverter generator, $164.99 at TSC today on sale. Free shipping to the store. You're going to be hard pressed to find an inverter generator that will do what this little guy will do for less than that.
And should we say we're not sponsored by
No, we're not sponsored by TSC.
We're not sponsored by anybody.
No, exactly. No, we're not sponsored by anybody. But it's fun, sharing these things with us. And thank you, David in Pennsylvania, for sharing this with me, because I've just had a ball. I bet I've sold a half dozen of these things. People that come here to the shop to get work done, and I'm like, hey, let me show you my new generator. And we see this little guy we fired up, and they're like, oh, I got to have one. They're on their phone ordering the thing, driving out of the driveway. So, if we crash the TSC website, that'd be a good day.
Doubtful.
Well, it is, but, love it. I mean, it's just done exactly what I wanted to do. 2 thumbs up. So until the next time, happy camping, and be sure to check back for that video where we show you how to make this run that air conditioner.